Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Directors here at Hope Haven, the Hope Haven staff, and most importantly, the residents who call Hope Haven home, I would like to extend the warmest of welcomes to Governor Josh Stein, his team, our Mecklenburg County partners, our city partners, our elected officials, community leaders, and all of you. Today is about partnership and about progress. Several years ago, while serving as the North Carolina Attorney General, Governor Stein helped lead the bipartisan effort to secure the national opioid settlement, bringing $1.6 billion to our great state of North Carolina to confront opioid crisis head on. Those funds were never meant to just sit in bank accounts. They were meant to change lives. Here in Mecklenburg County, the vision is becoming a reality. Since the spring of 2024, Hope Haven has used opiate settlement funding to expand peer recovery services, workforce development, medical supports, and practical resources needed to rebuild stable and independent lives. Because recovery is not just about stopping substance use, it's about restoring hope, restoring dignity, and restoring opportunities. And we are seeing measurable impact here at Hope Haven. More than 600 individuals served who are living with opioid use disorder, 80% employment placement for residents completing our job readiness program, and nearly 9 out of 10 connected to long-term community supports after transitioning. 92% report stronger recovery capital, meaning that they now have the relationships, the stability, and resources needed for lasting recovery. Behind every number is a person reclaiming the future, a parent returning home, an employee rejoining the workforce, and a neighbor rediscovering purpose. These outcomes show what happens when public investments meet community expertise. Governor Stein, we thank you for your leadership and for ensuring these resources reach organizations doing the frontline recovery work. Your commitment helps communities like ours move from responding to crisis to building lasting solutions. At Hope Haven, our mission is simple: help individuals and families move from crisis to stability and from recovery to purpose. Hope Haven is proud to be part of North Carolina's response to the opioid crisis. And yes, we're even more proud of the people who choose to change their life because of it. Thank you. Now it is my distinct privilege to welcome our governor of the state of North Carolina, Governor Josh Stein.
I want to thank Anthony Jones for that introduction and for his leadership of this truly remarkable institution, Hope Haven. I'm pleased to be joined by county commissioners, city council members, other leaders of the effort here in Mecklenburg County to address the opioid crisis. I was just talking with Councilor Graham and Commissioner Jarrell. The city of Charlotte and county early on decided, let's not each play in our own sandbox. Let's pool our money so that we can efficiently and effectively deploy these resources. And so I want to thank all the community leaders for their vision and foresight. Also pleased to be joined by Marcus Boyd and Debbie Dalton, and you will hear from Debbie shortly. We just toured Hope Haven's facility, and I learned about the great work being done here to help folks recovering from opioid use disorder. Hope Haven is changing lives. It's making a difference in the future prospects of its residents. Residents with substance use disorder are initially assigned a counselor. Then they receive a complete health assessment so that they can be set up for better physical and mental health. They participate in workforce development and job readiness program that teaches them hard and soft skills, and resiliency strategies that will help them in life. Hope Haven then helps each resident find their next job and permanent housing when they're ready to graduate from the program. This kind of wraparound support is transformative to people's lives. And I'm pleased that the opioid settlement funding that we secured while I was Attorney General is being put to such good use here at this facility. As Attorney General, I sat with parents all across the state who lost their children to this epidemic, parents like Debbie. The pain is heart-wrenching, and that's why we led a national bipartisan coalition of state attorneys general to take the big opioid drug companies to court and hold them accountable for the damage that they created in our communities. We won more than $55 billion nationally, and the state share was about $1.5 billion. And nearly every dollar is helping people who are struggling with addiction create a healthier and happier future. North Carolina's opioid settlement program has received national recognition for its transparency and accountability. The public-facing website, on it, each county provides an update on how they are using their settlement dollars and what kind of results are they getting from those investments. One of Mecklenburg County's recipient organization is Hope Haven, which is operating this workforce development program that I just described. And these programs across the state are beginning to make a real difference in people's lives. Last month, the Department of Health and Human Services announced the results of opioid and other kinds of drug overdose deaths. And in a single year, we saw a 34% decline, more than a third decline. That was the first decline we had seen since 2019, before COVID really set us all back. It is great news, and every person, and there are literally thousands and thousands of people, all the staff here at Hope Haven, and folks like them across North Carolina who are doing the hard, real work every day to help families, help individuals get their lives on a better track. They should take immense pride in this work and their accomplishments. But the work isn't over, because even today with that reduction, 6 North Carolinians on average are going to die of a drug overdose today. 6 today, 6 yesterday, 6 tomorrow. That's 6 families who will experience a pain, a hole in their hearts that they can never fill. To address the crisis, we need to address both the supply and the demand for these drugs. On the demand side, organizations like Hope Haven reduce the number of people struggling with addiction through their treatment and recovery programming. To cut supply, we're focused on breaking up the drug trafficking rings that peddle this poison into our communities and increase their cost of doing business. Our law enforcement officers work day and night to get fentanyl off our streets, but they need more support. That's why I'm calling for a fentanyl control unit in my last budget proposal that's comprised of agents with the State Bureau of Investigation and prosecutors at the Department of Justice. The fentanyl control unit would be dedicated to get more drug agents, more prosecutors to the work of getting fentanyl off our streets. It'll protect people from fentanyl, spare families from suffering tragic loss, support local law enforcement officers as they do their jobs, especially when drug trafficking goes across jurisdictions, which it almost always does. In recent years, we've made progress in North Carolina working together on a bipartisan basis to address the opioid crisis. We can and must do more to fight this crisis and to save more lives. 6 people a day is 6 people too many. I will now hand it off to my good friend, Ms. Debbie Dalton. I first met Debbie when she experienced one of the most terrible tragedies a parent can face. Her son Hunter, at the age of 23, died of a fentanyl overdose. There are entirely too many stories like Hunter's. Young people whose lives tragically ended too early because of one of the deadliest drugs to ever poison our country. But Debbie is one of my heroes because she has turned her pain into purpose to try to help other families avoid the crushing loss that she suffered. Debbie, I applaud you, and I now invite you forward to address the group.
Thank you, Governor Stein and Anthony and all the people here at Hope's Haven. What an incredible, enlightening tour to see all the work that you're doing, and I applaud you for that. I am here to share my story and to talk about my favorite person in the entire world, which is my son, Hunter. Hunter just was this amazing young man. I know I'm his mom, but I'm telling you, he had a gift. He just loved life like nobody that I've ever known. Funniest person in the world. Loved adventure, travel, sports, just staying busy. But more than anything, Hunter loved his friends and family. And he made it his mission in life to make people smile, but also to make them feel good about themselves. One of his friends told me that when she started college, she was 100 pounds overweight and very self-conscious. But she said every time she saw Hunter, he made her feel like Miss America. And they were genuine compliments, and Hunter was always loaded with them, with hugs and smiles, and had everything in the world going for him. He had that charisma and that great life. Hunter graduated college at UNC Charlotte. He grew up in this community on Lake Norman. Graduated college. He landed a great job in Raleigh-Durham. As he would say, he was living the HD life. He was living the dream. And then Hunter came home Thanksgiving for a visit and ran into one of his best friends, which is key to the story. And the best friend gave Hunter a recreational drug. Hunter even joked with his roommate about doing it. You know, I don't mess with that stuff anymore. It was kind of a joke. Hunter walked in the room and was in there 2 minutes. Unbeknownst to Hunter's friend, and certainly Hunter, the drug was laced with fentanyl. And it took my 6'3", very healthy son down, gave him a heart attack. He was so strong that they were able to revive him, but I held his hand in the hospital for 7 days, and he never regained consciousness. And I held my son's hand as he took his last breath. You know, fentanyl is a stealth foe. You don't see it coming. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care your demographics, your political view. It doesn't care how much love that's in your household. It doesn't care about any of that. And we never ever saw this coming for our family. So we know that knowledge is power. Hunter made a bad mistake that night. He would own it if he were here. It shouldn't have been a life-ending mistake. So we started the Hunter Dalton HD Life Foundation, and we share our story, and to date have spoken to thousands and thousands of students and businesses, because it still is sadly surprising to me what people don't know. And knowledge is power. And education, awareness is a piece of that. And we will continue this mission to honor Hunter's unconditional legacy of love. That's how we are honoring him, and I know that my boy is saving lives. You know, fentanyl is also relentless, but fortunately for the people of North Carolina, so is Governor Stein. And thank you so much. You know, I know that the good news that we have about the numbers is a direct result of this man's leadership, his tireless efforts. And we do know, though, that there is still so much to be done. There is so much to be done. And it just, for me, obviously, is common sense to put every tool that we can in the toolbox, to use every resource. And the fentanyl control unit is that tool that we need in our toolbox to make a difference. You know, one more senseless life, lost like Hunter, one more devastated, heartbroken family is just one more too many. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to underscore a point that Debbie just said. Basically, if you buy an illicit drug, even if you think it's a prescription drug, or you think it's some drug that should not pose a life-ending risk to you, you have no idea what you're buying. All of the illicit drugs have been polluted with fentanyl, and you don't know what pill you're taking. So please, avoid all illicit drugs, because unfortunately, the entire drug supply could be corrupted. With that, happy to take questions. Any questions? All right, guys, appreciate you all very much. Thanks for coming.